The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, welcome everyone to the Sigma Customer Spotlight with The Well. We're going to begin in just a couple moments. Let everybody get settled in here. I see the attendees number is still ticking up, but this is a good chance to just familiarize yourself with the GoToWebinar control panel because you are muted, but if you do have a question during this session, there is a questions tab where you can pepper us with something ad hoc. We can answer it within the chat box or maybe even at the end of the session. So we'll be beginning shortly. Let's give it a couple more moments. Okay, looks like we're leveling off here. So again, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Sigma Customer Spotlight with The Well. It's our last webinar of the month. I'm going to go into introductions here in just a moment. But if you have any questions throughout this session, there is a questions tab within the GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to ask anything there and we can answer it on the fly. But today I'm joined by The Well. I'm Zach Norton. I'm a technical product marketing manager at Sigma. I'll be moderating this session. I'm also joined by Jackie Wing, customer marketing at Sigma. She's going to run the Q&A. But we have Carrie Chadwick, who is the senior vice president and general manager at The Well, as well as Jose Ortiz, who's actually going to be able to show you how they deployed Sigma internally. Now, that is our agenda. And before we begin, I have our first interactive poll. There's going to be a handful of these. We just want to know what's everybody's familiarity with Sigma so far. So if you're net new, if you've seen the demo, if you're an existing Sigma customer, or if you're actually currently in an evaluation, one of our 2-week trials. Okay, it looks like most of the folks have voted. And I like this for our session here. We have some people that are net new, so I'm going to do a quick introduction to what we're all about. Refresher for the existing Sigma customers here. And I think that's great that we have that kind of attendance because it's a great way to have more of a Q&A, kind of share best practices between the Well and our other customers. Now, for an introduction, high level, I'm not going to spend too much time here because most folks are already pretty clued into what we're about. But Sigma is a next-gen cloud analytics tool for the modern data stack. There's a handful of buzzwords. So to sum it up, I like to say we are the Jetsons. We are born in the cloud. We have no previous on-prem Flintstones baggage, nothing prehistoric or on-premise. We're built on the cloud for cloud data warehouses like Snowflake, and we differentiate with our spreadsheet-like experience. So that spreadsheet was going to be crucial to the folks over at the Well because they were able to reduce report development time by 90%. So that is a killer headline for us that Sigma is a great tool for when you just want to give 10% and get those reports done very quickly. We're oftentimes the one BI tool for smaller companies. In larger enterprises, we're very complementary for existing tools just because we are so ad hoc and data discovery oriented for putting people live on data in their cloud data warehouse. And our history is we're from the same people that brought you Snowflake. So Mike Spicer, very smart guy, CEO, first CEO of Snowflake. After redefining cloud data warehouses, then he went ahead and redefined cloud analytics with Sigma. Sigma connects to Snowflake, but he wanted a larger total addressable market, so we can also connect to Databricks, BigQuery, as well as Redshift and Postgres, but brought to you from Snowflake. And that tool for reducing development report time by 90% is the Sigma Workbook. It sits live on the data in Snowflake. We can inherit all that Snowflake security and governance, and that's why business users can easily turn around their dashboards, visualizations. They can have that familiar spreadsheet interface for new calculations, pivot tables, new formulas. They can drill anywhere into the data for those follow-up questions. And another thing that I want to focus on today is the well is sharing this with their customers. So we can embed anywhere, but we also have a feature called guest users. So if Sigma is just going to be like your customer analytics application, that's a great way to bring people in and share some of the insights that you have within your data. We have a lot of customers, some of them are on the line today, but large global brands, smaller startups, really any kind of use case where there's row level detail, people want to build their reports faster, or they just need to get into the data and check, the actual numbers behind their KPIs. But with that, I'm actually gonna transition now and hand it off to you, Carrie, if you want to talk us through this customer spotlight.
Yep.
From here out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Zach. Thanks everybody who's here to join us today. I'm Carrie Chadwick. I lead the team here at The Well. Just quick background on who we are and what we do and the data that we leverage. So we bring in data directly from the retailer. That particular retailer happens to be GoPuff. And so the niche that we sort of work within is this idea of quick commerce retail. So GoPuff is a retailer, it's not a delivery service, which means that they're able to capture a lot of sales, user, and order data every day on their app. So, for anybody who's not familiar, it's a retail delivery service. It leans towards convenience items. They've been around for several years, and they kind of scaled up, starting with more of those kind of college campus type market areas, and then moving into suburban spaces as they grow. But their bread and butter is really kind of those younger kind of college age audiences and those convenience items. So they have a ton of data. What we bring in is their transactional data, their user data, and also some self-reported consumer survey data. So what makes us unique is that we're able to take all of those different aspects of their business and put them together into one complete picture. So the clients that we work with have a full complete picture of what's going on at the retailer, which makes up a large chunk of quick commerce retail, in the US marketplace. So it's great understanding for those clients. We're able to isolate successive promotions, and then our clients can turn around and work with the retailer to leverage what they've learned from us. So it's a lot of data, a lot of really interesting data, and a lot of data that wasn't previously available before the well existed. So if you want to go to the next page, Zach, I'll kind of talk about how we started, and we really had to hit the ground running. Oh, it's poll time.
1 sec.
Okay, perfect. So we walked in essentially on day one with clients that were expecting deliverables from us. So like I said, this was in-demand data and information that they weren't getting previously. So we were very fortunate in that we started up right away as a startup, as a small company. Our data was coming from Excel. It actually still does come from Excel, from the retailer. And we were using Microsoft Office tools to build our reports and to create these kind of large Excel workbooks for every single client. So every month we pulled together a custom PowerPoint file with customized visualizations and analysis for each of our 8 to 10 clients, as well as an 8-page Excel workbook for each client. So that took us about 2 to 3 weeks. It was extremely manual. Now with Sigma, our customers can access all of their data through our live analytics dashboard. So we went from these kind of offline analog PowerPoint files to them being able to access their data 24/7. We've got 37 different visualizations and counting on our Sigma dashboards, and we're able to instantly export that reporting that used to take us 2 to 3 weeks. So the Sigma platform builds that for us automatically. So instead of spending our time building individual visualizations, the visualizations are done. We can spend our time thinking about our client's business and delivering additional value to our clients because we have these dashboards. And as we kind of talked about before, all of our clients have kind of guest user access to the Sigma platform. So the Sigma dashboard is essentially our product. They log in on their own and they're able to kind of poke around in there. And the idea that we had is that most of their analysis can be done on platform. They don't have to download data. They absolutely can, but they can kind of get their learnings from the same place. It's like a one-stop shop. So as you can see, we basically tripled capacity. We didn't have to bring in any new hires. We were able to ramp up on Sigma within a couple of weeks without any change to our existing business. So we were able to kind of go on business as usual while getting Sigma ramped up, and then we were just kind of able to turn it on. And it was a massive increase in utility for our clients, a better user experience for our clients, and frankly, a more polished kind of business use case, for us at the well.
That's really impressive. I'm excited to see it firsthand with Jose, but let's get a little poll going, a little bit more interaction.
Yeah, we just pulled a little piece of data for you guys. The question is, which holiday drove the highest single week alcohol sales for GoPuff last year in 2021? So I gave you a couple hints on the type of consumer that shops on GoPuff, but it may or may not be a trick question.
Could see these answers coming in. This is funny. All right, we can close it in just a second. Oh, and feel free to pop in any questions in the chat, especially if this poll doesn't go the way you think it did.
All right, I closed the poll, and it's funny because I'll just share the breakdown of the results real quick here and see what you guys voted before giving you the final answer. So you got a spread of answers here, and let me close this. All right.
All right, leading answer was St. Patrick's Day. Actual answer.
New Year's Eve. It's deceiving, but they're changing. Their demographic changes every day. So New Year's Eve it is.
All right. So that insight was delivered from Sigma, and I'm going to hand off control over to Jose to show you how they were able to get into that data. So Jose, you're going to be presenter. Should be able to share your screen in just a moment.
Thank you very much, Zach. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it looks great.
Alrighty. No, yeah, my name is Jose Ortiz. I'm analytics manager here at the Well. And as Carrie had touched on, this is now the client-facing dashboard that we've been able to create through our partnership with Sigma. Instantly, you can see that this is a lot more dynamic than the PowerPoints and spreadsheets we were sending out previously. The dashboard allows clients not only to see the changes that have taken place in the last 4 weeks, but to create custom timeframes, drill down by state, by category, by class, by brand, and even down to the product level. The way we've set up the dashboard is that the first page gives a more holistic view of how the portfolio is doing. So at a quick glance, a client can see how their sales units, sales year ago, units year ago, out of stock and promo units have fluctuated. They can see their performance by state, and by hovering over each state, see various metrics, see how they performed in each of their respective classes over time, see which products might be driving those changes, see how each of their brands is contributing to their portfolio as a whole in terms of dollars and units, see how dollar and unit share has changed over time, a little more granular view as for share to see how share has fluctuated over the last 4, 12, 26, and 52 weeks, and even see that detail down to the product level. And lastly, see how the client's brands are performing in their respective classes in comparison to GoPuff overall. So it kind of gives them a benchmark. On the second page, we allow clients to take a little bit of a deeper dive. Here they can select a specific class. I'm going to select beer import for this example, and a specific brand. pick one of our randomized brands here. And now we can see class share, penetration, how share has trended and sales have trended over time, penetration over time, frequency, how that particular brand that we've selected has performed in each of the states in which it sells for the current and prior periods, how out of stock rates have impacted that particular brand, its average price to consumer, and lastly, give the client product level detail on that specific brand that they've selected. Go ahead and get these out. Here. Okay. The next page is competitive rankings. So GoPuff doesn't allow us to share competitor information with our clients, but what we can do easily through the dashboard is put together this table here that allows us to name the competitors and rank them based on dollar share for latest 4, latest 12, and latest 26 weeks. So without sharing the competitor data, we can give a sort of glimpse into how a particular client ranks up against their competitors. We also, this provides that view at latest 4, 12, and 26 weeks. And we also have that available for a custom time frame down here. Move on to the next page. On the next page, we just have like a data overview. In case a client is confused by what a visual might be showing or what a specific metric might be measuring, easy to go through definitions and explanations by page for clients to reference. On the raw data tab, we just have all the data that we used to send to clients via Excel. Now they can download securely from the directly from the dashboard just by clicking up here, download, and they have the download options there. And this is the same data that's used to create all the visualizations. So if they if a client needed, they do have access to all the data that's powering this dashboard. Lastly, another key point I'd like to touch on is the reports that we used to send out and have to put together on a monthly basis now can be put together or basically are put together instantly through this dashboard. We're going to go back over here and select a brand. So I've selected a brand, and then I come over here to the monthly report. And as you can see, now the monthly report is populated based on that brand that I've selected. And literally all it takes is one click. Not only can we previously used to send these out to clients, but now they have the ability to view these reports for any of the brands that, for which we're providing them data at any time of the month and create them for any time period that they'd like. This is another example of a monthly report we would send out, and it populates for the brand selected. So yeah, those are some of the ways that the dashboard has helped us improve our efficiency and provide clients a more dynamic use of their data.
Yeah,
Also,
I really
I
like
will
the
note
way.
that sorry, Zach, just one last comment I was going to make, that the dashboards are also extremely easy to customize. As you can imagine, different clients might prefer a different view or want a specific metric added. We can customize these dashboards for clients very easily, usually within the same day as we receive a request. So that's also been a key feature that we really appreciate and enjoy, and that clients also enjoy as well. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I mean, that ability that they can come in, they can make their own iterations. You don't have to go rebuild a complete report from scratch. And like even that data overview tab, how important it is to just be super explicative that these are the metrics, these are how we got calculated them, and then they can make their own changes, draft up another workbook, and all that is just with pretty much Excel-like skills for ad hoc calculations. Really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share that I do not have any coding background, and I was able to put this together in a matter of weeks. You know, it was fairly easy. I did get a lot of help, I'll say, from the Sigma team. Did leverage their help center a lot, but I mean, very positive experience. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, can you click on the little question mark in the bottom right-hand corner? Is it the live chat?
Oh, yeah. Second here, yeah. So what I'm referencing is this here. So if we go to live chat, we can just click here, send someone a message, type a message, and like it says, you will get an answer within a minute. A lot of times, questions can be answered just through the chat by taking screenshots of the issue you're encountering, and the representative can assist you that way. I've come across many times too that if it's a more complex issue, they'll send you a link for a Zoom call and jump on a Zoom call right then and there and get your issue resolved. So, yeah, very pleased with that feature as well.
We also got inspiration, I'll say, from some of your templates that you guys have on just the Sigma website. Just in terms of figuring out how to format it and make it, you know, easy to use for our clients. We definitely got inspiration there too. So it's great that it's functional and it looks nice. You know, that was really important to us.
And also one other thing I'll add too is that Sigma's constantly adding new features. A lot of the, you know, sometimes requests we get from a client, you know, prompt us to ask a question, oh, is this feature available, or how could we, you know, achieve this end goal? And it's, you know, maybe not available currently, but, you know, Sigma will say, okay, well, we'll open a ticket for it, and, you know, within you know, maybe a couple weeks, couple months, that feature is added and, yeah, available to clients. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've taken a lot of inspiration from those templates myself, and I've just seen across our customers, Sigma workbooks tend to look a little bit more granular than traditional dashboards, whereas and then dressing everything up with a lot of fancy visualizations, a lot of us just need the actual numbers.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so I think that's a good segue into our Q&A. One last plug for the chat in GoToWebinar. If there's any questions for either the Well or Sigma, we'll be able to address those in the actual chat. And Jackie, you want to start teeing up those questions?
Yeah, sure. Jose, were you going to say something just now?
No.
Okay. Yeah, and it's amazing because I have not seen a lot of those things in action that you guys have been talking about. So it's amazing to see how much we're able to help you guys and all the different visualizations you're going to make, the detailed granular view, and also just really amazed at how you guys are using it. It's practically made your life so much easier in your business. And I know Carrie, you touched upon this earlier about the time it takes to deploy Sigma with the Well, and it wasn't too difficult. How was that process in terms of the process from the start to beginning deployment to kind of ending deployment? Are you still going through some of those issues, or is that basically resolved? And you know, you guys, do you have any other changes you're trying to make moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Jose kind of speak to the process of getting it up and running. But, you know, at this point, you know, Jose probably had never heard of Sigma in January of this year. And today he is like power user extraordinaire. So it's really amazing that, you know, it's so intuitive to the point where, you know, we can have something this sophisticated up and running that is our product for our clients, that we hadn't ever, you know, seen before. So I think that's really cool. But I don't know, Jose, if you just want to kind of talk about the process from, you know, our first day to now.
Yeah, no, very similar to kind of like what I had touched on. And you're absolutely right, Carrie. But before we, before 2022, I had not heard of Sigma, was not aware of it at all. You know, no knowledge, no prior knowledge of it, and came into it. You know, we saw some demos, really impressed with how the tool looked and all the features it had. But you know, like with most things, you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And then when you get in there, you're like, how am I going to do this? You know, you think I'm never going to be able to learn all this. But it's like Carrie said, so intuitive that Yeah, I think what we were able to get set up within maybe a little over a month, but or around that time frame, and yeah, and I can't stress again how helpful just the Sigma support has been. Any question that as you're working throughout the day, just have a question. Oh, I'm not too sure how to do this. Just type into that chat like we demonstrated earlier, and yeah, they provide you an on the spot help. So it's like you always have someone there that you can lean on to help you, get get yourself set up and going.
Yeah, the other piece of it too was Snowflake, which was something else that Jose and I hadn't really had much experience with. But you guys and the team actually at Snowflake were really helpful in getting us up and running on that. So the combination of the two together was a huge game changer for us, and it's going to allow us to scale upward. So Sigma was the catalyst for us getting our data up on Snowflake, which was great. And now that we're comfortable and familiar with Snowflake, we can continue to grow our data set, instead of just saving Excel files on OneDrive.
Yeah, that's a lot of progress made. And I just heard today that we're expanding our technical support hours. So through the chat that Jose was referencing, to begin 3 hours earlier. So we're starting at 6 a.m. Pacific time now to really get in there and start the day right for people who are using Sigma early. So that's launching live on Monday, and I just been told this before this webinar, so I think you guys are first to hear it. Yeah, and yep. Also, you guys mentioned that you guys were using a lot of Excel before and took like 2 to 3 weeks to get the results you wanted. What kind of tech stack, if any, you guys were using then? What was the shape of your data before you began with Sigma versus now?
Yeah, so I think you touched on it there basically in the question. We were just receiving Excel files with raw data, basically creating our own Excel files, kind of remanipulating the data and creating certain views for clients, but all in Excel, sending those polished Excel or kind of finalized Excels back out to clients, and using some of that Excel, that data from the Excel to create PowerPoint. So it was basically
No
just
trouble.
Microsoft Office. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Got it. And were there issues in terms of, I don't know, like not saving data correctly, or did you have a data warehouse at all, like before Snowflake, or was it all just on your computers?
It was all OneDrive. Yeah, we would
OneDrive.
create client files, and yeah, specifically, yeah, to just save different Excel files for clients and send them out that way. Yeah, I
Got it.
mean, like I showed also on the dashboard now, and instead of having to send, you know, Excel files with confidential data, clients can now download it after, securely logging into the dashboard, which also adds a little bit of enhanced security for the data as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we had to employ like contract work for QA on everything, just given the opportunity for human error, essentially, that we no longer have to leverage because we use Sigma, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So that kind of ties into my next question, which is how were you guys analyzing Snowflake queries and costs before using Sigma? But you guys already touched on it, but would love to kind of hear more about the before and after of things.
Yeah, I mean, we basically weren't, but before we weren't calculating it at all. It was just all 100% manual work done through Excel and PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now we're leveraging all our data is neatly housed in Snowflake. We're able to, as we get new data, just create one large data set, able to keep all the historical data rather than having data in different files. So that's been really valuable in showing trends for clients as well. But yeah, and visualizing it in Sigma, it's been a game changer.
Yeah, that's really amazing to hear. And everything you said so far just really points to how easy it is to transition and use it. It's kind of running things the way it should. And moving on to like looking into the future, what new use cases are you considering that you can use Sigma for, or you want to expand on?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, because we're up and running on Snowflake now, our business is extremely scalable in an efficient way. So we're looking at new data sets we could potentially add, like for another retailer, for example, which would allow us to, provide another offering to our clients or allow us to pull together even deeper insights across the channel. We're also looking at, you saw our dashboards leverage sales data, but we have access to order level, user level data, and we will be having more and more access to that information. And so we're thinking about bringing on a lot more data and different types of dashboards that allow us to look at, audience segments, basket data, and not just basket data, but baskets maybe and how they evolve based on, different demographics or market areas. So combining all of those data sets together, and those are huge data sets. I mean, that's going to come down to, individual orders at this retailer every day. And so that's going to be a lot of information, but we're already set up to scale up kind of as big as we need to go using Snowflake and then Sigma overlaid on top. So it's really just a matter of us identifying those opportunities, but there's no real limitations. So it's great because we want to continue to offer valuable information, for our clients, or bring in, new and different retailers, or potentially look at clients in different verticals that we could go after to leverage, the dashboards that we've created. So the sky's the limit.
Amazing. The scalability is really, truly, I think, really amazing. And I think it's really interesting how you found us Sigma before Snowflake. And I think with most of our customers, it's the other way around. They already have data in their Snowflake warehouse, and then they're like, oh, there's Sigma. We can use data to get out of that. But you guys are like, nope, we just want an easy result with getting what we want from data. And then there's like, oh, there's Snowflake, and it comes along. So yeah, really interesting use case here.
It is, and the funny thing is, like, we do have a lot of data, but sometimes Snowflake or Sigma people will kind of like chuckle at how little data we actually have compared to other clients. So yes, it's fully scalable, which is amazing, and it makes small data sets or humongous data sets manageable, which we have to have, and it's going to allow us to scale without adding much cost on our end, which is really important for us as a smaller business.
Yep, totally. I totally get that. And I think that's the end for the questions that I have. Of course, for the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the question section, or if you have any other things you want to chat about, there's also a chat box as well. In the meantime, Zach, did you want to go to the next slide and we can launch a poll?
Yeah, we got one more poll as we're wrapping up here. Give folks a few more chances to add any additional questions. We're going to launch for existing customers. Now, one thing I'd add to this is if you want to begin a use case discussion, it's another way that we like to onboard folks. Just like the well, they're going to continually keep tackling new data sets, new retailers, new customers. So you can always set up time with your account exec, your Sigma solution engineer, or the support engineers that we're shouting out earlier to be able to talk about how to tackle that data. And even we can share what we've seen out in the field with other customers like the well. So looks like some folks want to attend a hands-on lab. I'm going to close this out. Some other folks are interested in that use case discussion.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, we do have a hands-on lab on October 25th, so that there's one next month that you guys can attend, and we'll send out the information and send you a follow-up email with all that good stuff. We also recently published the well case study alongside this webinar, so we can launch all this at once. It's actually the first time DeWell is debuting their new name on our webinar today. Before they were called Groundswell, and they just rebranded. So you guys are the first to hear about our new support hours and rebranding of the well. and you can also read their case study in more detail about what we talked about here today. We also have a What's New in Sigma webinar. So as Jose and Carrie mentioned, we're always adding new features and resolving requests really quickly. So we also have a What's New in Sigma webinar pretty frequently, the next one being October 6th. That we would love to have you join. Again, all these resources will be emailed to you afterwards. And if you have any questions, of course, you can email us. The live chat's the easiest and fastest way to get to our support team. And we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming events. And also the free trial. I know it says just 14-day free trial. It's a free trial. That free was left out of there. So if you're worried about having to pay for a trial, you don't have to.
All right, Carrie, Jose, thank you again for walking us through the well, what you've been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Very cool stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Likewise.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining.
I know.